Hi, Michael Cockcroft, Executive Director and owner of Chicago Rush. Just want to get some messaging out about the new age group change going into next season, 26, 27. For those that aren't familiar, which I'm surprised most of you will be, but they are going back to a grade year age group. Previous years, it's just been based on the year you were born. Going forward, multiple affiliations are putting into effect the grade year August 1st through to July 31st. That's not coming from us as Chicago Rush, not even coming from our national program. This is something aligning across all of the youth soccer network within the United States. So here's some of the league plans and people who have agreed to do this in an update. I think it's important for you guys as our members just to kind of know as much as we know. Obviously, it's got to be slight changes, nothing really massively to panic about. And I'll talk a little bit of some of the rationale and the reasons why these affiliates are doing it. So USYS, obviously that is our YSSL leagues, IWSL leagues, IY State Premiership, State Cups, President's Cups, Midwest Conference. That's all fallen under the USYS umbrella. Then you've got US Club. For now, that's only relative for our MPL teams that play on a weeknight, or any teams that are in NISL, but I don't think we have any teams at the moment within that. And then on the girls' side, our DPL, again, they'll be also going to that grade year two. The only two that haven't decided is the MLS Next. That's not relative to us. We don't have any MLS Next teams, and only two MLS Next clubs in the Chicagoland area. So this is something that we are embracing. We are going to this grade year and we are adapting. But as with everything within our club, we take this player-centric approach. There's going to be lots of team conversations, club conversations, individual conversations. That will probably be driven by your directors of each of your clubs. So Tom, Kevin, and Adam in North Shore drive that with our Wings affiliate in the North Shore. Ben, Stephen, Brad will be getting information out and be a support mechanism for our North. And then obviously we've got Greg and Nick down in Oswego, and then Rich and Mark out west. So they'll be the ones kind of guiding this with the support from myself, Tim, and Tracy. And then our Rush National Program. They actually put some cool support tools in place for us to use across the country, and then obviously specific to Chicago market. Here's just a cool timeline of where we were. The irony is Chicago Rush kind of started off the back of the birth year to the grade to the year, the school year, sorry, the grade year to the birth year back in 2017. That's kind of when we started up a club. And here we are 8 years later, flipping and changing it back from birth year to grade year. Personally, I don't think it's a huge deal. I think we always look at each individual player. We always look at each team scenario. If we feel a player is strong enough to play up, we do that. We've got some 13 boys in Oswego playing up with the 12s. We've got some 11 girls playing up with the 10s up north. And I think we even got some 15 girls playing, or 16 girls playing with the 15 girls at West. So it's something that we're familiar with. The difference now is it's just looking at players who are born from August 1st to July 31st. That's definitely going to help some of those younger players in that Q4 who are August 1st to December 31st. And then obviously those who are born in that latter part of the summer flips a little bit on then of being a middle-aged player to now being one of the older age players. But we're aware of this and something that we'll be working with the directors on a regular basis. Um, I'm sending this presentation out so you guys have access to it. There's kind of some cool resources that our Rush National support give us. Just an age group chart that you can look at specifically for where your son or daughter falls. So you can see, hey, look, my son's born 2013 in November. He will still be a 2013. If that gets confusing, there's a simple calculator that you can use. Again, I've got these resources that's going to be sent out in an email. I just put in 11/02/2013 and now it just works out he is going to be U13 again. Currently playing as a U13 because it's birth year, but next year he'll be U13 again, based on that. So that helps. And then just some links to kind of why the changes helps reduce the number of trap players. Those separate from classmates due to calendar year. I mean, it happens all the time for the last 7, 8 years of that eighth grade to freshman. Look, some players are strong enough to play up, but because in Illinois you've got the high school boys playing in the fall, so any eighth graders who are the same year as the freshmen, they can't play with their team because those freshman boys all play in high school. Obviously, this changes now because they're going to be the same grade for the most part with their teammates. And then likewise in the spring, typically the high school girls for our club ends the end of February, and then they start it with the high school. But again, if that grade player was playing down, they can't play with their team in the spring because they're all playing high school. So it's not confusing once we kind of understand the parameters of it. Again, like we know when high school is, but we also will look at it if a player is strong enough to play up an eighth grader playing with a freshman or a freshman playing with a senior. Sometimes that all just comes down to the level of play. For the most part, if you look at it right now, we have 07, 08s playing together. In some cases, we've got 08s or 09s playing together. And they're probably in the same grade. So don't panic. Something that we will be rolling out through our winter and early spring. I know a lot of the clubs, speaking with each location, will be hosting pool training, which will look specific based on the grade year, so we can get a look at that. You got to remember there's some huge factors coming in this year into not just the change to the birth year to grade year, but also the World Cup year. That does attract a lot of new players to our organization. We are trying to leverage some opportunities at some of these higher level platforms. So with the combination of changing to grade year, World Cup coming in, potentially national platforms, this is hopefully going to retain our players, attract new players. So trials were going to be pretty hectic as is. Now we're just doing it based on that grade year. So that just shows you kind of some cool documents that Rush rolled out. Rush Fest will be for all of our 2014s typically will be open to the young 2014s. So that's the old 2015s and the young 2015s, or the old 2015s and the young 2014s, and then a 2014, 2013 age group, so U12 and U13. I don't necessarily agree on this, but Rush Select is going to stick to birth year. That's something we'll follow because that's a national program. That's not our local select, that's the regional and national select. And then obviously you've got some resources that I just showed you on the website there. Like I said, these are some of the events we'll be doing throughout the winter and spring. Some small-sided games. Nick's already hosted stuff in Ben as well up north with inter-game scrimmages. Again, we'll try to get a good idea of that. So we're ahead of this. I don't want you guys to panic. I don't want you to think that we're not on top of this. We certainly are. Need you to understand that this comes from the federations and the affiliates, not from Chicago Rush, not from Rush National. And we're going to support you guys the best we can, a player-centric approach, having these individual team meetings, club meetings, and in some cases, one-on-one meetings, just to make sure that your son and daughter feels comfortable, and you guys get a full understanding of where we look to place your player. But as with anything at tryouts, it's all unpredictable until we know who signs up and registers. And with that surge of World Cup and hopefully the growth that we're having and the quality of success on the field, it's going to attract more players in any way. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. But your real resource is your director of your local club, or even your coach, and they can direct you in the right direction of which person to speak to. So thank you. Reach out if you have any questions.